Perdomo of Bloomberg Quick Take. This was an unprecedented week in sports where we saw games from the NBA, WNBA, MLB, NHL, and MLS all postponed in protest with the police shooting of Jacob Blake. To talk more about this and social justice activism, I'm joined by Boston Celtics player Enes Kanter. Enes, thanks so much for making time for us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So this has been such a crazy week, not only in the NBA, but like I said, all in the whole world of sports. Can you take me through what this few days have been like for you and your teammates?
First of all, I will just start with everyone has a very heavy heart. Especially the last couple days, atmosphere here in NBA bubble is very heavy. And every NBA player, whenever we meet or whenever see each other, asking and saying the same thing. We demand change and justice. And also after watching that video, like everyone else, I felt sick to my stomach. And you just saw a man, a father, I will start with, shot 7 times in his back, one of their kids and family. And you look at what happened to, George Floyd. You look at what happened to Breonna Taylor, and now Jacob Blake, and many, many more. We all saying enough is enough. We are sick of it. So that's why I feel like, tweeting and, talking about it is important, obviously, but don't just talk about it, be about it. So that's where we are right now.
And when you say be about it, you guys have obviously been in talks in the
Mhm.
past, few days, a lot of meetings. What is the consensus from these meetings? What do you guys want to see happen?
I mean, people need to understand this cannot be white against black. This is about everyone's against racism, and this is about good against evil. And we need change, like everyone know, but change cannot wait anymore. And I'm really gonna ask a simple question. You know, Everyone needs to ask themselves, why does equality have to be a debate? You know, and whenever we meet, especially the last couple days meeting with, the coaches, referees, players, what can we do to take action? That's like our number one priority right now. We actually in a meeting we talk about NBA Justice Coalition formation, and the second thing we talk about is how important the voting is. Don't just like we said, don't just talk about it, be about it. And we asking our owners, what can we do to make this easier? Because voting should not be difficult. So that's why uh, we talked to our owners about accessing the arenas and big facilities to make the voting easier on all of us. So I think that was the important thing. And then, I mean, we knew coming into this bubble, this basketball was a second priority. What can we do to bring light in this conversation? What can we do to bring light into darkness? Because our world is experiencing something is not acceptable. So I feel like, or we all have, not just NBA players, but like, soccer players, the WNBA or, football players have big platforms. What can we do to use this platform to inspire, especially our young generation? So I feel like, I'm just so proud of all my guys that just stepping up and showing pure leadership.
And, with that, you're saying like you wanted to talk to the owners and things like that. It's been kind of talked about that maybe this not playing was kind of a wake up call to the owners, you guys trying to wake up the owners that they needed to do more. Do you think that that was the case, or was it more about raw emotion?
When Milwaukee Bucks, just boycotted the game, the whole NBA, I'm not just talking about the players, the coaching staff, trainers, referees, everyone who works for NBA stood behind them. It was a wake up call for a lot of people out there. And, after that call, what gets me so excited was we had a bill. It calls George Floyd bill that I think it already passed the House. It sponsored by Congressman Karen from California. So that was like the first step. Okay, we boycotted the game. We let the whole world know where we stand. But now the second thing is start taking actions, not just talk about it. Like we said, be about it. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes, and we know that basketball of obviously is important to our world, but it comes second priority right now. The number one thing is what can we do, to use this bubble, use our platform to bring change. So a lot of things are happening, and we are so excited about it.
And do you think that through policy and through bills and voting is the most impactful way that you guys can make change?
I think so, because I'm not just talking about federal voting. I'm talking about local votings too. There could be so much done in, I mean, everyone needs to ask themselves. So we just actually in the meeting, the number one thing we talk about, first of all, ask ourselves, all the NBA players, how many percent of the NBA players are registered to vote? We found out it's only 20% of us just registered to vote. So I feel like we should take action first, and see what we can do. And then we can impact and encourage and inspire our family members, our communities, our cities and states. So I feel like that was the number one focus in the conversation. And I think, like I said again, 20% is not enough. I wish, like, Turkish government revoked my passport, and I'm gonna become an American citizen next year. And once I become a citizen, that's like the number one thing that just shatters my heart because I cannot go out there and vote right now. But the least I can do is just inspire people.
And that's a pretty shocking number, only 20%. Were you
Right.
surprised when you first heard that?
I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised because every captain, every team member should ask their team, it's like, okay, we want change, but let's change ourselves first. This change start with us, you know? And when we heard that, like it was in the 12th team was in a meeting, and when we heard that it's only 20% of us just registered to vote, I mean, we were like, come on now, we need to start with ourselves first, then we can inspire others. So right now we had a Celtics had a meeting last night, and the number one thing we talk about is, okay, let's register and make this easier on all of us.
So you guys all registered to vote last night?
Yes. I mean,
Well, the ones for
if you're an American citizen and if you can vote, yes. But like we have some couple international players that are not American citizen, which is pretty sad. But I think once we become a citizen, we are definitely going to change that.
Well, that's great that you guys are taking the lead on that and really, like you said, affecting change within you guys first so that you can really lead in that way. You talked a little bit about how you said that your Turkey revoked your passport. Can you talk a little bit about that for people who may not know your story in that way?
Right. I mean, I know what is it like to fight for justice and freedom because I'm experiencing uh, the same stuff with my country. If you look at what's happening in my country, Turkey, right now, sadly, there is no freedom of speech, religion or expression. There is no democracy or human rights. And if you talk about any of this conversation, you are the enemy of the state and you will be in jail in a heartbeat. If you look at Turkey right now, Turkey is the number one country in the world that put most journalists in a jail. That shows that there is no freedom of speech, and there are so many political prisoners right now are in the jail. The last time I checked the number, there was over 17,000 innocent women and almost 1,000 kids and babies are in the jail with their mother right now, and which is because of the coronavirus, right? Turkish government decided to free all the human traffickers, child rapers, mafia leaders, serial killers, everybody, but they decided to keep all the political prisoners, journalists, and lawyers are in the jail. If the coronavirus spreads in jail, which is already did, there is going to be so many deaths. So that's why I'm trying to use my platform to be a voice of all those innocent people out there who don't have a voice. And just because of I talk about these issues, obviously it affected me and my family. My dad was actually uh, was in and out of jail, and he entered a Turkey course for over 7 years. He actually finally had his freedom last couple months ago. But lots of people out there know my story because I played NBA, obviously. But there are so many stories, so many families out there. Their situation is, and their story is way worse than mine. So that's why I'm trying to use my platform and my story to be the voice of all those innocent people out there.
And you use the word freedom a lot there. And, one of the things that you guys did coming into the bubble was deciding to put phrases on the back of your jerseys, and you chose freedom. Can you explain why you chose that and what it really means to you?
I mean, that's to me, that word means so much to me. That's the meaning of life because like I said again, I know what is it like to fight for freedom. And my jersey, that was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to put behind my jersey was freedom because the issues are not happening in America or Turkey. There are so many people out there fighting for their rights and fighting for their freedom. So my jersey was representing throughout the whole world people who are fighting for what's right. And you know, like I said again, that word is definitely mean a lot to me, and I will do anything to just for that word.
And like you said, that's a very universal term,
Right.
freedom. Needs to be in every country, really. And like you said, in your country of Turkey, there's a lot to do with not necessarily with freedom. So, what do you see comparisons? Do you see in America? Do you see to Turkey?
Uh, I last time I was in Turkey, it was 2015, and that was actually the last time I saw my family. Um, when you that was back in 2015, things just started to get heat up in Turkey. People started to go in jails. That there was lots of riots, and there was lots of people asking for their rights. And when I look at America right now, it's starting to uh, have what Turkey was having back in 2015. I just don't want America to get in the same situation right now what Turkey is. I feel like, whenever you turn on the news, there's so much negative news out there. People always like attacking each other. This side is attacking that side is attacking the other side. I feel like our goal should be the same. What can we do to make this country better together? Sometimes we attack each other so much we forgetting what the main goal is. So I feel like there are so many people out here just fighting for what's right. So I feel like we should listen. We have one country, we have one world to live. The the question we need to ask ourselves is what can we do to make this world better together and make our country better together? So I feel like people should focus on that.
And what role do you think sports and athletes can play in uniting the world in that way?
I mean, sports bring people together. You can believe in different things, but you can cheer for the same team and cheer for the same uh, player. So I feel like, I mean, not just athletes. If you have a platform, if you're rapper, singer, actor, athlete, anything, if you have a platform, use it to inspire others because there are so many, especially our young generation out there watching us, watching you. So I feel like we need to use this platform to first of all educate our young generation, so when they come to our age, they won't have the same problems we are having right now. And I mean, I'm just really excited about what all the athletes are doing using their platform because, like I said again, there's so many kids out there. There's so many families out there are watching, and like I said again, there are so many important things are bigger and bigger things than sports right now. And I'm so happy that there are so many people, athletes out there showing pure leadership.
And exactly right. You're saying, every athlete right now is using their voice. I mean, it just shows by the fact that basically every single major sports, league in America decided to stand in protest with you guys as well. What kind of significance do you think that holds, that it's stretched into all of these different sports?
I mean, it's a lot. I feel like NBA is definitely taking the lead because other major leagues are actually calling the NBA and saying, "What are you guys going to do?" So I feel like NBA is playing a huge role in the social justice issues. But if it was just NBA, it would not be. It wouldn't be enough. But you look at WNBA, you look at NFL, NHL, MSL. So it's like MLS. There are so many leagues out there are like, okay, you know what? We love sports, we love our team, we love our fans, but let's wait for a second. What can we do to change what's going on? Because, I mean, like I said again, there are so many bigger things than sports right now, and I'm just very happy that people are talking about what's important, and there, without sacrifice, there's no change. So I feel like people doing the athletes special, doing the right things.
And the WNBA is right there with you guys, always at the
Mhm.
forefront of these issues. How much would you credit them on that? And do you guys ever work together when going out there and talking about these things?
Huge. I mean, what they doing is unbelievable. All the women athletes out there doing an unbelievable job that just bringing so much light into what's going on. I mean, just yesterday, the stand they took was just amazing, and I'll be honest, I'm inspired by them. And whenever I sit down and have a conversation with a WNBA player, it just gets me and so excited about how educated they are about any situation. So their stand is they're definitely really important. And yes, we are working with them all the time, and they're definitely playing a huge role in this social justice issues.
And you yourself have given a lot of interviews
Mhm.
since Wednesday night's boycott and things like that. What's really motivating you to keep speaking out on this? And what does being an activist really mean to you?
It's like I said again, this is being more than just an athlete, you know. It's important to because you're only gonna play this sport for so long. If you take care of your body, you maybe play this game maybe 14, 15 years total. The the question when you're done with your career, the question you need to ask yourself is, what did I do? Not just for myself, but for our community, for our country. How many people's, how many lives I have changed, how many hearts I touched, how many people, how many kids I inspired. That's the question you need to ask yourself. Going out there, scoring 30 points, getting 20 rebounds or 10 rebounds or winning games, of course, it's so amazing and important. But this is bigger than that because this affects people's life.
And what is the measure of that to you? Like, what would you want your legacy to be once you leave the game?
When I'm retired, I just don't want to only remember by my game. Whenever I'm done, before an athlete, I want to remember by a human rights activist, because to me, it's bigger than basketball, bigger than everything else I'm doing. And if I just only care about basketball, if I only talk about, just what's going on the court, I will be a good basketball player, but that will be it. But if you talk about all this, what's going on right now, it affects people's life, and it affects, I mean, most importantly, kids. So that's why whenever I'm done with my career, I don't want to be only remembered by my game. I want to be remembered the work I'm doing off the court.
And when this all started, there's been a kind of a debate about what to call this. Is it a strike, a boycott, a walkout? What term would you use? And does it really matter to you guys what term you use?
I think that the one word I would use is the stance. We've taken a stance because there are so much issues are happening in our country right now, and we are taking a strong stance. And because we are sick of it, and enough is enough. And so that's why I will call it a stance for everything.
So now the NBA has collectively decided to go on and continue with the playoffs. Well, there obviously you guys feel comfortable doing that. So was there some sort of resolution that made you guys feel like comfortable to return to play?
Of course. I mean, like we said, first of all, that bill, that George Floyd's bill, was that definitely get me so excited, and I'm sure get my teammates so excited too. And the second thing is we want to see change. So that's why whenever we're in the meeting, whenever they talk about the voting, whenever they talk about what can we do to, just make it easier on everybody or educate people, that was the other thing. And then the other thing is just like not just NBA, but like we want all the major sports league to just join us. So that was the wake up call for everybody. And now people know where we stand, and people know we are not just athletes that are going out there and dribbling the ball. People know that we are educated about all the stuff happening in our country, and whatever it takes, we are willing to do whatever to just change, because um, change cannot wait anymore.
And to you, what do you feel like what like the accomplishment will be? When will you feel like the league has done enough to support you guys in this, or Congress or whoever has done enough to support this issue?
Yesterday in a meeting, actually, when we sit down with owners and talk about it, that was the one thing. And then the second thing is, if you look at every social media right now, I'm talking about not just the players, but the team social media, all they talk about, what can we do? How can we inspire equality, freedom, justice, so that's why, and they have huge followings. So that's why whenever you see this kind of change, it definitely gets me so happy and excited.
That's amazing. You guys are really leading the way, and you're doing such a great job. Thank you so much for joining us, Enes, and good luck in the rest of the playoffs.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you all for joining us.